Hey, Christina.
Hey,
Hey, there you are. How are you?
good. How are you?
I'm great. Oh, I gotta turn my camera on here. All right.
I think I'm going to change my preferences 1 second to not be blurry.
Okay.
Let me just see.
I'm gonna keep the blur.
It's kind of distracting with the different colors, isn't it?
Nah, that's not bad.
Sure.
Yep.
I'll just, okay.
There you go.
All right.
So how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So let's welcome everybody to our Zoom here. My name is Amanda Loeffler, and with me I have Cristina Carter. And I'll let Cristina explain what she does, and then I'll explain what I do.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. So again, my name is Cristina Carter, and I am the owner and founder of Tallahassee Notary. We are a notary service provider.
Uh-oh.
Packages. What we're going to be focusing on today, though, Amanda, as you are well aware, is the Apostille process. I know we've been working together for some time now, and just covering some of the basics that make it easier and smoother for our clients and fellow notaries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So my name is Amanda Loeffler, and I am the owner and founder of Amanda Loeffler Notary Services. And I am pretty new to this whole notary game and the apostille game, but Christina has taught me so much, and I think I have it down pat at this point. So I wanted to share with you guys what I do since I'm in St. Pete, Florida, and she's in Tallahassee, Florida. She's at the Capitol, I'm not. So I need her in order to expedite my apostilles. So when somebody reaches out to me, they end up getting served, finished, everything's done in usually a week or less. If they try to go through the process themselves, I looked up the processing time yesterday, and it was about 4 to 5 weeks. If you were to send it in on your own, and trying to get a hold of anybody is really difficult. And if you have a problem with it, they just send it back and they'll tell you what you need to fix, but usually it's something on the notary's end. So I want to share with you guys what I am doing to make sure that nothing is being sent back. And fortunately, I have Cristina to be my second set of eyeballs before it goes to the Secretary of State's office. So that way we don't have any issues. Everything goes through, it's smooth and easy. So what I take with me on every single appointment is I have my very nifty little case of pens here. I have a nice little variety here. I need to add some more black ones. I was gonna say you can't have too many pens. I carry paper clips. Can't really see it. Oh, it's like, there we go. Let's see. Ooh,
Again,
yeah, whatever. Paper clips.
With multiple documents.
Yes, with multiple documents, because I have a system of how I put them in the folder. The other thing that I carry with me on every single appointment, hopefully it doesn't get too blurry here, is I have this little Mead little folder. This is like the greatest thing ever. I got it at probably Target or Walmart. Let's see if it'll focus on it. So it's got these folders in it where I'm able to print out several copies. Oh, you know what? I gotta take the blurry background away. Hold on a minute. Let me fix that. Choose virtual background here. Let me go to none. There we go. Now we can see what I have here. All right. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So there we go. All right. So now you can see I had this nifty little notebooky thingamajiggy has these folders in it, but the folders have like nice little things that keep your edges nice. I mean, these are like the greatest things. And I have several of these little folders in here. So I have not just the form that you need on the front of every apostille form here. I'll hold this up for you. So this is something that you can print off the Secretary of State's website, and you need it with each and every form. And so I always have my client fill this out so that way I don't mess it up. So you need this with each and every one. And so I keep several of copies of that with me. And I also keep several copies of the notarial seals that you'll need. And that's something that you can get from Cristina. She'll touch on that in a little bit. The other thing I always carry with me, I actually have my handy dandy hoity-toity clipboard, and inside my clipboard is where I keep my stamp. So I got my stamp here. I also have printing supplies, since that's something I also offer. And with some apostilles, you actually need fingerprinting with it. So it's something that you might want to consider offering. I had a retired sheriff's deputy teach me how to do it, so that way I knew how to do it correctly. And he calls me the MacGyver of all notaries because I carry everything with me. The other thing that I have in a bin, I have this big bin here that I found at like Office Depot, I think is where I found it. And in this handy dandy little thing, I have FedEx envelopes, I have FedEx bags, and then I don't at the moment, but I usually have legal size envelopes. And so I have a process of how I put everything in the folder. So if I'm going to put everything in the folder, for my example tonight, I have my form from the Secretary of State. I use a money order and I have it addressed to the Florida Secretary of State.
Incorrect. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's going to be
Yes.
addressed to the Florida Department of State.
Department of State. Yes, I'm so sorry. Florida Department of State. That's where it goes. Sorry. And then I just have notebook paper for my example, because of course I can't share anybody's documents with you. So we're going to just pretend that this is a hoity-toity fancy schmancy document that we have apostilled, or that we are going to apostille. Now, sometimes this form has to be translated. That is a service that we can do for you. We work through a translating service, and sometimes it doesn't have to be. But usually your client will know that. And if they don't know that, then you ask a whole bunch of questions to find out, like, is it going to go through the embassy? Where is it going? What is it needed for? That sort of stuff to figure out, does it have to be translated? So anyway, so you would have that. And then we'll just pretend that this is one of our notarial seals to go with it. So then what I do is I put it each one, and most folks end up having more than one document that has to be apostilled. The bunches that I have done so far, the least amount has been 2 and the most has been 4. So it just depends on every client. Everyone is different. And then I go ahead and I put my little paper clip on it. See? Paper clip. And then each one would have its own little packet like this. So when Cristina receives it, it's not difficult. And then what I do is I put it in the envelope, and all of them are nice, neat, tidy. And then I would put, this envelope is going to be addressed back to your client, wherever it is that they want it to go. Sometimes if it's somewhere international, FedEx does do international shipping to some places, but if it's somewhere that they don't go, then we usually use DHL. So this would go inside the bag, since I don't have a legal envelope, but the legal envelope, this does fit inside. Or if you're using DHL, that envelope fits inside this bag. And then this one would be addressed to Cristina. So I take care of the shipping. I take care of the fee that I would pay to Cristina. I take care of the money orders. And then of course, my other costs that go into it, my time, my gas, my energy, my whatever. So I make sure that I'm collecting that from the client at the time of service. If not upfront, depending on what the situation happens to be. And then as soon as I leave them, I usually try to give about an hour to get the money orders taken care of, just because I don't always know how many documents it's going to be. Sometimes they tell me up front, sometimes it's like, just show up, and you're like, okay. And then I make sure that I give myself plenty of time at FedEx, because sometimes they're really busy and I have to wait a little bit in order to go ahead and make sure that everything is addressed properly and it's going where it needs to go, and I collect the tracking numbers. As soon as I have the tracking numbers, I send them to Cristina, and I also send them to the client, so the client knows exactly where their documents are. This is something that is vital, because they want to know every step of the way, where are their documents, what is going on, because whatever we're having apostilled for them is extremely important to them. So we want to make sure that we respect that and that we are working quickly and efficiently to expedite whatever it is that we're doing for them. So once this leaves my hands, it goes to Cristina. So I'm going to let her take it over from here.
Yeah. So thank you, Amanda. That was very thorough. And I will say that when I receive your packages, it is a breath of fresh air, that is for sure, because I know that everything has been taken care of correctly. It's organized. The return shipping label is already there on the envelope inside. And in addition to that, the money orders are all also taken care of and separated. Just to clarify, again, that money order is going to be made out to the Department of State. That's the Florida Department of State. You don't need to put Apostille after that. The notarial seal and or notarial statement that Amanda talked about is something that I provide to individuals that are working with me and or training with me. Amanda, you've been training with me for how long now? I guess almost a month.
Maybe a month, not even a month. Yeah, and I've successfully done 3 at this point. The third one is on its way back to its client.
And each one were several documents though.
Yes, each one was several documents, and each one was like as smooth as it could possibly be, which was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I guess like a few tidbits that I have learned throughout my time offering apostille services and also training others and working with other notary publics is, it's all about the details. If and when you do decide to train with me and or collaborate with me and use our services, I will guide you step by step through the process. Am I right, Amanda? I mean, if
yes, you have held my hand. You have answered every crazy question that I've had, sometimes at weird hours, where I'm like, what about this? What about that? And you've made sure that I completely understand what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. Like, I feel like I can go anywhere with confidence because you've taught me what I needed to know, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And that's part of offering apostille services, right? It's all about the details. And if you don't get the details right the first time, just as you mentioned before, the Secretary of State's office is going to kick it back, right? So make sure that you ask the questions, reach out to me, be as detailed as possible, and use the resources around you and also that I provide, right? So as you mentioned, you have a notarial seal and a notarial statement that I put together that guides you kind of in a more precise way to ensure that you have everything that you need to make sure that that document will be processed smoothly, especially if the client needs it via rush service, right? So we do expedited services 2 to 3 business days. If that's kicked back within those 2 to 3 business days, guess what? The client's not going to get it. A few other points that I wanted to make, and these are just really simple things that it is, not necessarily Amanda, but just with dealing with other notaries that I have noticed. The money order is a big thing. Also, make sure that when you do provide your return shipping label, and or we can provide it, we can touch base on a individual basis, but Amanda does it great because she provides the return shipping label in addition to the envelope, and it's all there ready for me to just slide the documents in, and I go to FedEx and I drop them off. Some things that might cause some time constraints that I've dealt with other packages and other notary publics when they've sent me their documents is that they don't include the return label and or they email me the return label. We're more than happy to work with you. If emailing is easier, we can no problem make that happen. However, it is preferred to use the method that Amanda uses. So go ahead and send the envelope. There was a package last week, Amanda, that you sent that Tallahassee Notary was providing the international shipping through DHL, but you even provided the envelope.
Yeah, so I was able to get a hold of the envelope, but I didn't have the DHL. I'm still trying to get the DHL account going like that. That seems to be a little bit of a process. You play phone tag with them for a little bit and they try to figure out what your needs are. And you're like, I don't really know what my needs are because like 1 month I might have 20 of them and the next month I might have 0 of them. I don't know. But I did tell them I need you to send me supplies because when I went to my local place that ships through DHL, she was willing to give me 1 envelope, but she was like, you need to make your own account and you need to go get your own supplies. And I was like, okay, fine.
Right.
So,
And for what it's worth, for the other notary publics that are watching and listening, we do have a DHL account through Tallahassee Notary. So if you do use our services and collaborate with us, we'll be more than happy to provide the international shipping through DHL. Again, it would be appreciated if you provided the label like Amanda did,
right.
but not necessary. As far as translations, Amanda did briefly cover that. 9 times out of 10, the client will know if they need to have the document translated. But again, that is a service that Tallahassee Notary also offers. We offer translations in 52 different languages through the American Translators Association. So again, if you are in need of translation services and you're collaborating with us and training with Tallahassee Notary, we'll be able to help you through that too.
Awesome.
We're trying to make this process as smooth as possible for everyone.
I know, right? Like, when you think about, I get phone calls from folks and, sometimes I get a little grouchy about what I charge and stuff. And I have to explain to them, look, this is so much cheaper than driving to Tallahassee yourself and then paying for food and gas and time and effort and hotel and energy and whatever else you managed to find in Tallahassee that you didn't need and whatever,
And if it
this is
happens to
so
not be
much
right,
easier. And not only that, but you don't have to like go to Tallahassee and then go to try to find the Secretary of State's office, get lost at the Capitol, all that sort of nonsense. You don't have to do any of that. Like this takes all the stress off your hands and it's done. So, if folks are like kind of getting grouchy about what you're charging, like you can always tell them, look, all of my costs have gone up lately because they have, like just like everybody else, inflation is hitting us as well. But also that, using our services is like cheaper and more efficient than doing it yourself. So that has won me some enemies and probably won me some friends, but it's cool. Either way, it is something to keep in mind and something that, you might encounter some kickback about, what you're charging, but, you can always just tell them, look, you're welcome to do it yourself. But, if you use us, we're a whole lot easier and a whole lot more efficient.
yeah, I've had clients in the past that have gone elsewhere because they thought that my services, our services at Tallahassee Notary were a little bit too high, and they've actually come back because
Yeah.
who they went to that were offering cheaper services didn't know what they were doing. They didn't
Right.
get the
Yep.
documents taken care of, and they came back and were more than happy and willing to pay the price that I originally had quoted them. So, you get what you pay for too. And you have to ask if the Apostille service provider is charging less and significantly cheaper than other service providers. Again, do your research, but there's a reason for that. It probably means they're new in the game.
Right.
And that also means that the likelihood of there being mistakes is much greater, which means that your client might not get the documents in time, which means then word of mouth, you have an unhappy client, et cetera,
Right. Yeah. No, actually, my first apostille that I sent in, I was actually fixing somebody else's work that had no idea what they were doing. And so the client was watching like what I brought with me and what I was doing. And I was actually training up somebody else at the same time. So I had never done an apostille before. She had never notarized anything before. She's watching me and what I'm doing. And she sees that I'm fixing somebody else's work. And she was just like, wow, this is awesome that you're showing me how to do this when you're just learning. And I was like, well, when you think about it, like what is our function here? We're really just making sure that the signer is who they are and that this is truly what they want to do, but then also making sure that the paperwork is correct. The other person hadn't done one of these before, I don't think, so they didn't know what they were doing. And so, my poor client had to pay a second time. And, when he was like, yeah, you're kind of expensive. And I was like, well, do you want it done right? And he was like, yeah, I really need it done right. I was like, okay. And he was like, all right, take my money. So,
right, let's do this. And then we're happy, right? You got it
yeah,
done
absolutely.
right. You got it done in time.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so that's what we have. Did we miss anything?
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I should state that if anybody does have any questions and or would like some apostille training and would like to work with Tallahassee Notary, you can either email us at info@tallynotary.com. That's info, info at tally, Tally, notary.com. Or you can just give us a call, 850-999-7717.
Awesome. Yeah. And I was gonna say, if anybody wants my help, I mean, I'm still new to this, but I'm willing to help you, if you need it. But really, Christina is a better resource than I am at this point because I'm still asking her stuff all the time. So yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Amanda's been great. So she's
Yeah.
also a resource that, especially if you're in the St. Pete area, I would definitely reach out to.
Yeah, no, like if you need, somebody to go with you or like a phone a friend while you're in the middle of something, like by all means, give me a call. I'm willing to help. The only reason why I've gotten as far as I've gotten so far, in such a short period of time is because I've had other people helping me. Like it's not like I'm just figuring this all out on my own. So I'm willing to help. So yeah, awesome.
Well, this is really informative. I hope that, everybody watching and that has taken the time, thank you, that y'all were able to learn a few little good tidbits tonight.
Yeah, I hope that this was really helpful for folks and that, if you've got questions or whatever, reach out to Christina because she's the resource. So
Thank you.
anyway, have a great night, everybody. Take care, Christina.
Bye.